In a forest, Dresa wakes up at the sound of a plane arriving. She grabs her weapon, and the moment a man steps off, she shoots him in the head. Meanwhile, former Marine Levi jolts awake from a nightmare. To clear his mind, he relaxes on the beach. In the morning, a text orders him to report to the Marine Corps base. There, he meets Agent Bartholomew, who recognizes his elite sniper skills and lack of personal ties. She offers him a job. In Lithuania, Dresa visits her mother's grave with her father on the anniversary of her death. He reveals his terminal cancer diagnosis and declares that if he's still alive by February 14th, he'll end his life to reunite with his wife on Valentine's Day. Months later, Levi wakes up mid-flight from an anesthesia-induced sleep. He asks a nearby soldier where they are, but she's not authorized to say. She confiscates his personal belongings and informs him they're approaching a no-fly zone. Levi grabs his assigned bag and jumps, waiting for the perfect moment to deploy his parachute. He lands safely and embarks on a long trek through rough terrain. Eventually, Levi reaches the edge of a vast gorge, where he meets JD, a soldier stationed there for a year, who, like Levi, has no idea where they are. JD leads him to the West Tower, a self-sustaining outpost, powered by solar energy, with a rain system, vegetable garden, and abundant game for hunting. Across the gorge stands the East Tower, but communication with its occupant is strictly forbidden. The gorge itself is surrounded by landmines and tactical barriers, making escape impossible. JD explains Levi's duties, patrolling the western rim, restocking the automatic turrets every 600 meters, and maintaining security systems, including cloakers that obscure the area from satellites. Contact with the outside world is limited to a monthly radio check-in, where only a status report is allowed. In case of an emergency, Levi can trigger the stray dog protocol, but JD warns him to run if it ever activates. The outpost dates back to the Cold War, when multiple nations vowed to keep it a secret, even from their own leaders. Levi's mission is simple: prevent anything inside the gorge from getting out. It sounds absurd, but JD once thought so too, until he encountered the Hollow Men. As if on cue, inhuman screeches echo from the depths of the gorge. JD recounts how, in the late 1940s, 3 cavalry battalions were sent in to cleanse the area. None returned. Since then, containment has been the only strategy. That night, JD departs. A helicopter extracts him via rope, but when he provides the password, the soldier aboard executes him and discards his body in the mountains. A month later, Levi settles into his monotonous routine, patrolling, maintaining defenses, and checking in over the radio. The voice on the other end never entertains questions. One day, he notices movement at the East Tower. Through his binoculars, he sees Dresa chopping wood. She acknowledges him, but remains distant. During a stormy night, Levi wakes from a nightmare, shattering a glass in his panic. He mistakes the sound for an attack and grabs his gun, only to realize he's merely stepped on broken glass. While tending to his wound, he notices Dresa watching from her tower before retreating inside. Weeks later, on her birthday, Dresa fires a shot to get Levi's attention. Holding up a sign, she asks for his name. He responds that communication is forbidden. Undeterred, she writes back her own name, insisting she'll do as she pleases on her birthday. Amused, Levi reciprocates. To celebrate, she blasts music and invites him to dance. He claims to be a terrible dancer but an excellent marksman. To test him, Dresa shoots his water bottle. Levi swiftly returns fire, hitting hers. The game escalates until she spots movement in the gorge. Creatures resembling humanoid trees scale Levi's tower. He takes them out, triggering mines that obliterate many. Dresa joins in with her machine gun, and together they eradicate the attackers. When the dust settles, one creature reaches Dresa's balcony. She shoots it multiple times before kicking it off. Then, more creatures scale her side. They fire relentlessly, activating more mines until the gorge falls silent. The next morning, Dresa treats her injuries and declares it her best birthday ever. Levi repairs the damage and resets the mines, but Drone suddenly emerges from the gorge and flies off. As winter arrives, Levi decorates a tree with lights and leaves a sign for Dresa. They start sharing moments, building snowmen, playing chess, and drumming on pots. On Valentine's Day, Levi finds Dresa crying over a family photo. She confesses it's a hard day and wishes he could be with her. Determined, Levi constructs a zipline using armory tools and launches a rocket across the gorge, securing it to a tree. Dresa secures the rope, and Levi attempts to cross. Midway, he gets stuck but uses his gloves to slide the rest of the way. He arrives at Dresa's tower, presenting her with flowers. She jokes about his smell from the exertion, prompting him to shower. While he washes, she replaces his uniform with fresh clothes left behind by a previous occupant. During dinner, they discuss the psychological toll of their mercenary pasts. One dance leads to another, and by morning, Levi prepares to return. As he slides back, hollow men attack his tower, triggering an explosion that severs the rope. Levi plummets, but deploys his parachute just in time. Dresa rushes to her armory, grabs weapons and a parachute, and jumps after him. She lands in a river, but gets trapped by a rock, forcing her to cut herself free. The current drags her, causing her to drop her auto-ascender. Meanwhile, Levi dangles from a tree, unconscious. A branch moves, it's a monster. As it nears, Levi wakes and shoots while struggling free. He falls into what appears to be mud, but the sticky substance is actually a creature's mouth. The adhesive goo begins closing around him. Just in time, Dresa arrives and opens fire, rescuing Levi. She cuts him loose, and together, they head toward the gorge wall. Before they get far, two hollow men appear on tree-like horses. One leaps at Dresa, but she stabs its neck and finishes it off with a shot. The other disarms Levi with a whip, but he quickly draws a backup gun and takes down both horse and rider. Checking her bag, Dresa realizes the auto-ascender is lost. With the walls too steep to climb, they're stranded. Levi inspects a fallen hollow man and finds an old military uniform. These creatures were once the cavalry battalions sent into the gorge. As they journey through the eerie forest, they stumble upon an abandoned town overtaken by mutated plants. Hearing approaching monsters, they take refuge in a church, only to find skeletons who chose cyanide over the horrors outside. Suddenly, massive spiders attack. Levi and Dresa fight fiercely, but as they near the exit, hollow men burst in. They're now caught between two threats. Dresa smashes a creature's head against a table before tossing it into the spiders. Levi engages in close combat, barely managing to shoot his attackers. Dresa detonates a grenade, creating an escape route. They flee to the gorge wall and find a hidden door leading to an overgrown military facility. Inside, they discover a projector film from 1946, revealing the area was once a top-secret biochemical weapons site. An earthquake caused a leak, mutating the local wildlife and scientists alike. The gorge's isolation prevented global contamination. A modern computer reveals Darklake, a paramilitary corporation, continues secret experiments here, using guards and towers to maintain secrecy. The stray dog protocol, they learn, is a nuclear failsafe designed to sterilize the area if containment fails. As they exit, a hollow man captures Dresa, dragging her into a facility. She breaks free, enduring brutal combat before setting her enemy ablaze. Levi arrives in time to finish the job. Levi examines the hollow man and realizes it is the remains of one of his predecessors, the officer who named the creatures hollow men. As they leave, Dresa and Levi discover damaged rockets among mutated plant-human hybrids. When one grabs Dresa, Levi struggles to free her. They flee, shooting at the living tendrils until Dresa fires a grenade, setting them ablaze. They find a functional jeep with a winch and drive it to the cliff face. As Dresa fights off hollow men, Levi uses the winch to pull them upward. The monsters persist, nearly dragging them into the abyss. Near the top, Levi punctures the gas tank, drenching the creatures in fuel, then ignites it. The jeep plunges down, knocking the monsters loose while Levi and Dresa dangle off the cliff. They cut the rope and reach Dee's tower. There, they must wait 5 days to check for infection. Levi confesses he was sent here because he had no one, but now everything has changed. Dresa suggests fleeing to France, but Levi insists they must destroy the gorge. He radios his superiors, pretending all is normal. However, Bartholomew, watching through a secret feed, orders his elimination. The next morning, drones find them, and a helicopter arrives. They try to escape the kill zone, but the drones wound Levi. Draca shoots them down, and they barely exit the danger area. Levi and Draca trigger explosions that expose the Gorge to spy satellites, activating the stray dog protocol. The helicopter is caught in the blast, and Levi is thrown into the river by the shockwave. Draca waits 6 days in a cave before leaving. She later settles in France and reads Levi's final letter, a poem he wrote for her. She spots Liam at a cafe table and freezes. Fighting back tears, she asks why he was gone so long. Wounded but smiling, he says, "I'm ready to work in your kitchen." She pulls him into a kiss. And that wraps up our recap. But now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about this movie? Did they really survive? Or was it all just an illusion? Are there any hidden clues we missed? Drop your thoughts and wildest theories in the comments. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Enter Recaps for more awesome recaps. Your support keeps this channel going, and I truly appreciate every single one of you watching. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.